All right, y'all. It's been over 6 years that I've been doing NoFap, and I want to share something with y'all that I feel personally. I feel like it would have made things way more easier if I would have known this from the beginning. And that's that NoFap in and of itself is a trigger. Now, the reason I say this is because when we play with ourselves, 9 times out of 10, we do so as a means of a coping mechanism. It's not just for pleasure. We're doing so as a coping mechanism. All right, if you do not believe me, go ahead and do a dry fast from sunrise to sunset. Just sit with yourself. See what comes up. All right, I'll explain that more in a little bit here, but I want to get into the whole coping mechanism thing. All right, because we as humans, we experience physiological and psychological trauma, and our body's always trying to heal, but when we experience this trauma, if our body can't heal right away, it tries to kind of push it to the side. It says, okay, we can't deal with this right now, let's deal with this later. You can see this a lot with kids when they experience trauma like getting abused, for instance. This kid can't actively deal with that, being a kid. So the mind begins to push it to the side, and it tries everything it can to survive. That's a coping mechanism. It's just trying to survive. Now, this will continue on until the body can actively deal with all the trauma that it experienced. Now, here's the thing. If you have coping mechanisms, if you're using something as a coping mechanism, your body's not really going to deal with the trauma. You're not going to heal from the trauma. But when you do NoFap, when you remove this habit out of your life, you stop watching these films online, this filth, what ends up happening is you remove this coping mechanism. And when you remove this coping mechanism, your body's going to do two things, or one or two things. All right, number one is going to deal with all the trauma that you had. It's going to be very, very uncomfortable. People can attest to this. People can tell you exactly what I mean here, because when you start going on it, you start feeling all this anger. You might feel depressed. You might feel anxious. You might feel all this stuff coming up, right? Or two, you might find a new coping mechanism. You replace one poison for another poison, right? So you're going from one distraction to another distraction. Now, the whole point I want to get at here is that it's very simple to counteract all this. Okay, so first off, I had spoken about a test. The test is you do a dry fast. You wake up from sunrise to sunset. You're probably not going to wake up at sunrise, let's be honest. But if you do, cool. Wake up, you fast, you don't drink, you don't eat any water, you don't eat any food, you don't drink any water, and just sit with yourself in self-reflection all day. Just meditate all day. That's it. Just try it one day. Pick a day out the week, maybe in the weekend when you're not doing much, and just choose that one day to just be by yourself and do the dry fast from sunrise to sunset. I guarantee you that you're gonna have something come up. All right? And the way that it works is you first have to eliminate all distractions, all the things that are stimulating you. And then when you do this, you're gonna go into first a stage of boredom. And that stage of boredom is it's really your mind trying to go on to something else. It's your mind trying to cope with something else, because it's been doing it for so long. It's the only thing that it knows, so it's just gonna keep trying to do this. If you can stay past that, if you can get past the boredom, you get to the point where your mind is like, yo, I'm good. There's nothing that needs to inherently be done right away. There is nothing that I need to protect myself from. We are safe. We are good. So you know what? Now that we're safe, now that we got this time, let's heal from this. You know what? Hey, we actually went through something a few years back. Let's bring this back up. Let's see if we can heal from this. And from there, you're gonna have things coming up from your past, from your childhood, from all this stuff. And it's up to you to deal with it, right? And it's up to you. That's what I'm saying. It's up to you. It's not up to like some specific method. It's up to you. You just have to actively go through it. And if you think about this, right? If your body's always trying to heal, if your body's always bringing up this old trauma, just imagine what you could be if you had no trauma. Imagine you at your best self, like your best version of yourself. Yeah, imagine that times 10. That's where you could be if you actually dealt with the trauma that you have inside, right? The thing is, if you don't deal with it, you're gonna constantly be seeking distractions. And again, if you do this test, you're gonna see for yourself. Now, once you see for yourself, okay, well, how do you do this? Because you can't be fasting all the time. You can't be doing this all the time. So how do you actually heal from this? The simple answer is to simplify your life, right? Put your life in such a simple way where you're eliminating most of the distractions that you have, right? If you notice that for yourself, you're spending too much time on YouTube, eliminate YouTube. I don't mind if you're not watching my videos. It's all right. All right. If you have something like, let's say you're on Instagram for too long, delete Instagram. Right? If you find that you are researching things too much, limit yourself in your research. Have purpose when you go in for your research. Don't just go in and let yourself research for hours and hours and hours where you start neglecting all these other things that you have to do. You simplify your life in such a way where you do what you have to do, and then you do the things that you really want to do, but there's less distractions. There's less things that stimulate you. It's almost like you're returning back to just a simple life, right? Imagine a human living out in nature with no electronics, living off the land. They're going into the ocean spearfishing. They're coming out, cooking it up, maybe, tending to some animals, spending time with other people, hunting, doing whatever, right? Imagine this lifestyle. That's a very simple lifestyle. That's something that you want to emulate. You want to mimic that to the best of your ability within your life and with your means, doing whatever you can. If you do this, when you do a simple life like this, when you create this for yourself, you allow yourself the time to be able to heal every single day. Because healing is not something that should be done like once a year or once every 10, 20 years. That's why people break. That's why people have those things, those moments where they snap. It's because they have all this trauma built up. They never process it. They never healed from it. And then they just snap, right? Healing is something that needs to be done every single day. So when you create a simple lifestyle like this, you allow yourself the space to heal every single day from the trauma that you've experienced in your past, and then from the new trauma that you're experiencing on a day-to-day level. And yes, even if you are this hard individual, this tough individual, you're still experiencing the trauma. You still are. So you gotta heal, or you gotta deal with it every single day. And then from there, you'll notice that doing NoFap is not that hard. Eliminating pornography, it's not that hard. The only reason it was so difficult, the only reason you felt so compelled and so pulled to it is because your mind was using it as a coping mechanism. Your body was using it as a coping mechanism, and it was something that was habituated into your life as a habit. It's like, it's that thing that you did in order to heal, or not heal, in order to distract yourself. My bad for that. It's the thing you did in order to distract yourself. Now that you are removing that thing, it's a no-brainer why it's so difficult now for you to go about doing your things. And it's a no-brainer that after X amount of time, it comes creeping right back in. So I'm gonna cut it right there. I'm gonna leave it for y'all there. feel like that would have made the biggest difference for myself. Obviously, there's way more that goes into this. It's a lot of hard work. It's a crazy journey to take, but it's the best journey to take, in my opinion. All right, so with that being said, hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Hope the video helped you in one way, shape, or form. And with that being said, remember y'all that the time is now.